Hi everybody, I'm Sherry Bay. I'm a librarian at Lincoln Library, and today I am going to be teaching you how to make a rock garden. One that I made here is a cactus garden. I used just a tin can that you have at home, maybe a soup can or corn. I washed it out. I made sure there was no sharp edges. I filled it with some pea gravel, and then I painted some rocks to look like cactuses, and I just stuck them in there. Some of the supplies you're going to need today is paint. I have green, yellow, and white. Mixing the paint together, this is a really dark green. I have found that mixing it with some yellow gives it a nice bright green color, and then adding in a little touch of white makes it a little bit lighter. So it looks like a real cactus. You're going to need some things to put your paint in. I just have these small plastic cups. You're going to need a paintbrush, something to put your rock garden in. If you have the tin can, that's fantastic. So I have a little glass yogurt container that we're going to be using today. You're going to need some pea gravel or some small rock, and then you're going to need, depending on how big your container is, you're going to need a couple of river rocks or large rocks from your yard. Make sure they're clean, so clean them off first before you start painting them. You'll need some napkins because it can get messy. You can get paint all over your hands. And a small cap from maybe a bottle of water or lotion to set your rock on. Some paints need to sit over 24 hours to completely dry. The best way to get a rock to dry is paint it in thin layers. Go ahead and just paint your rock and set it in the sun or in a warm place, and that helps your rock dry faster. So, to get started, I'm going to take my paints. I'm going to take my green first, and then I'm going to add some yellow to get it that nice, rich cactus green color. And the color you want really is up to your liking. If you want a little bit darker of a green, don't use as much yellow. If you want more of a vibrant green, use more yellow. And then if you want more of a lighter colored green, add some white to it to lighten it up. You can keep adding paint as you go. There's no problem in that until you get the right color that you want. So the rock that I'm using today to show you how to paint a rock is pretty small, so I just took the cap from a glue stick that I have. You can always just use a napkin, and when one side is dry, you can flip it over and paint the other side. Okay, so once you have your rock, just stroke the paintbrush along the rock. And like I said, it can get messy. You're going to get some paint on your fingers, and that's alright. That's why we have the Kleenex to clean up. If you're using acrylic paints, they're really great. They wash off with water, just some warm water and some soap. Like I said earlier, if you want your paint to dry faster, go ahead and do thinner layers. Once I have one side painted, I'm going to go ahead and set it on my cap and just finish painting the other side until it's all painted. Once you have your rock painted the color that you want, you're going to have to paint on those little prickly things. They are actually called spines. You always have to be careful with those because they hurt if you touch them. They're like thorns. So what I like to do with that is I like to use a really thin paintbrush for those because you want them to be small. And I use white. You can use black. I've seen some cacti rocks that are black. So you want to grab your rock and choose the side that's going to be facing out for everybody to see. And what you can do, there's a couple of different ways you can do the spines. My preferred way is to just make little dashes, just quick little dashes like this. And I kind of just, no pattern, I just kind of do it every which way. Do them around the sides too. So the end product, this is what I've got. And you can do it another way. Some people like to do like their little stars or little X's. It's completely up to you. This is something that's fun that you can mess around with and play around with. Okay, and once you have all your rocks painted, you want to take your container that you're going to use and put your rocks in. And like I said, I used a tin can before. something I just had around the house, some pea gravel or just some gravel from the yard. So you just fill it all the way up to the top. And in this case, I am using my little yogurt jar. So I'm going to fill it up. So this is what we're working with here. I filled it up to the rim here, but not overflowing. And what I'm going to do is stick my rocks in there. Since my jar is so small, it only accommodates 2. So our end product looks like this, a little rock garden. You don't have to use green for your cacti. You can use any color. I've seen rainbow ones. I've seen light pink ones, but are really pretty if that's the aesthetic that you're going for. So really, it's up to you. That's the fun thing about coloring rocks. It's just whatever you want. And it's fun because it's using stuff that you have around the house. Thanks for stopping in and watching my video. I hope you guys have a great day.